listening audience, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am Whirl, one of your players for today, and I am joined by the wonderful, lovely, fantastic, doomed.
I'm fat and I'm scared.
Everything's fine. I don't know why you're scared.
Well, I've known you for like half a year at this point, and I know you when you get that tone of voice.
What tone of voice, Vamp? Everything's fine.
Anyway,
Anyway, welcome, lovely listening audience, to Casting Call. We are going to start our FPS today with Mersel. Mersel, you are headed to the grocery store. Well, actually, no. You went to the grocery store. What did you go to the grocery store for, Mersel?
well, Cell recently got into a recently in terms of in canon in the universe, he recently got into a fight with Lucky Jack, and it was a pretty bad fight, and Cell's not feeling good about it, and he feels really, really bad. So he's decided. So he's decided to go to the grocery store to pick up some ingredients to make Jack a cake.
And that's wonderful of you. That's really lovely. And you went to the grocery store, you got your cake ingredients. Do you think you got everything you needed?
He takes a look at his grocery list. He takes a look at his basket, and he thinks of how angry Jack was at him, and adds more chocolate to the basket.
Yes, chocolate, the thing that makes everything better. So, you get through checkout smoothly, and
Mm-hmm.
you start heading home, and it is. It's pretty late in the afternoon, but it's a dark. It's a dark weather type day. It's very cloudy out, and it makes it feel like night has already fallen. And there is. Roll me insight.
Oh, well, honey,
Hmm.
you don't have to.
That's a
Oh, that's
3.
not one.
Everything's fine. You're sure everything's fine. It's just a cloudy day. It's a really nice cloudy day. It kind of smells like it might rain.
Oh, so
Um,
Sel's looking at the clouds and he's like, "Oh, Tobias will enjoy that." Although he is kind of sad, that would mean like he won't be able to see the stars tonight. But he can always ask Roan once he's finished baking the cake for Jack.
mm-hmm. And you're walking home. The grocery store is a good ways away from the apartment, but it's not so far as to, require the use of Bob's car anytime anybody wants to go there. So you were able to walk, and Marcel, if I remember right, you're the sort who kind of likes taking long walks by yourself, yeah?
Usually so, but considering the context of this particular walk, like getting ingredients, like I don't think he would dawdle as much as he usually would.
Mm-hmm. But
Because like he has something on his mind.
mm-hmm. And maybe it's just that you are so horribly preoccupied at the moment. Your head is full right now. You are thinking so many thoughts because, doing a proper apology cake is something of a spectacle. You must understand. You gotta
Mm.
do the whole proper I'm sorry, here's something nice bit. Um,
And there is the concern that the apology wouldn't be accepted.
of course, that's always a worry. And you don't notice as you are thinking and you pause for a moment, kind of lost in thought, in front of an alleyway, and you don't notice anything's wrong until you hear a sound. Marcel, you are becoming familiar with the concept of the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And while you are not, for example, everyone's favorite cleric of the soundtrack, Chifley Ford, you have heard it once or twice, and you're hearing it again now. A light but low and foreboding pluck of violin strings from the darkness. The kind that warns that something is about to happen.
Mersel has been like preoccupied up to this point, but when he hears that, like he pretty much like snaps out of it and like he starts reaching like into his coat to grab his wand and cast light.
You reach into your coat for your wand, but before you can pull it out, your world goes dark. And the last thing you register is that you're falling, but then you're caught. You are caught by something that feels a lot like a person, and then you are moving, and then you are asleep, and you don't know what's happening anymore.
Oh, well, you're very good at describing things, but oh,
What are Marcel's last thoughts as he goes unconscious?
I think like well, is unconscious. I don't know if he would have time to really like have last talk considering how fast he fell asleep. But I think like his last talk would be something along the lines of, "Oh, Peck."
Appropriate. And this time, Marcel, this time you do wake up. This time you wake up and you are not where you were a few seconds ago. You are somewhere else. Roll me perception.
Oh, he's so good at that. Oh boy,
That's a
that's a
9.
9. I'm using the luck point. Okay, never mind. I guess the dice is bullying him today.
I mean, he used up his good rolls in that spar with NG earlier.
Oh shoot, yeah. If this happens in the same day, he might not. He wouldn't have any luck points.
Mm-hmm. I won't say that this happens in the same day. I'm not that mean. But Marcel, with a 9, you are a little disoriented as you wake up, but you do notice something. You feel something heavy on your wrists and at your ankle, and you can hear clinking as you move, like heavy pieces of metal. The floor underneath you is cold, and you think it might be stone. It's kind of rough feeling. Um, and it is dark in here. Granted, that's not really much of a problem for you. You can see in the
Yeah, I was
dark.
about to say, like, he does have dark vision.
You can see in the dark, so that doesn't seem like it'd be much of a problem for you. But it is noticeably dark. Like, there is noticeably the lack of color that comes from seeing with dark vision.
I think,
Marcel,
like,
what's your reaction?
I think, like, he takes all this in, and then he immediately, like, goes to, like, try it, like, tugging experimentally at what he assumes are manacles around his wrists and ankles.
Um, yep. I mean, roll me strength.
Oh, gosh. Imagine if you rolled on that 20. Nope.
That's a 9. Uh, and even if you had rolled a nat 20, that would not have been good enough. Um, so you pull at these chains and nothing happens. Honestly, you wear yourself out a little bit. They are heavy and they are cold and they are very thick metal. Um, and there's something a little off. Hey, Vamp, do you think
Hmm?
Marcel would try and use his magic?
Huh. Problem is, most of his magic, like, not much of them can Not much of them can. Oh, actually, yes, there is like one spell that he might use.
And what's that?
He's going to try to cast Frostbite. Like, his logic is that he's going to freeze the manacles from the inside out.
Okay. Let me just look at something.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Vamp! Frostbite does damage, right?
It's a cantrip, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it does damage.
What damage does Frostbite do?
Are you talking about this only the spell, or if we count like Mercel's like everything Mersel like his feet and everything?
Uh, how much damage does it do with how much Mersel is going to be putting into it?
Well, I think 2d6 plus 5.
Alright, let me roll that. Alright, Mersel, you try and cast this spell, and you take 14 damage as it feels like your blood just runs frozen.
What? Ow! Ow!
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Hey, World, does he recognize this voice?
Why don't you roll me history? At advantage.
22.
Yes, Marcel, you do recognize this voice. There's a different quality to it than usual. Or at the very least, than the last time you heard it. But you would be hard pressed to forget the voice of the person who gave you so much trouble in the ECCR.
He hears that voice, and even though like his body's still hurting all over from 14 damage, like, oh god, that took a lot of his hit points. He like he's like glaring in like the direction of the voice, and it's just, oh, I should have known it was you.
Really? I wouldn't have expected you to. Unfortunately, this was a bit of a rush job.
No, I mean, I do have a lot of enemies, but I think you're the only coward I can think of off the top of my head that would put me to sleep without engaging in a fair fight.
Hmm. You of all people should know I don't deal in fair. And, um, you see the smile first. The glowing crescent moon smile outlined in bright violet, and then the eyes, and then the whole person as Kyle Bedlam steps out of the dark and looks you over appraisingly.
So, Sel is gonna roll something real quick. It's not gonna knowing Kyle specific abilities, like it's not gonna work. But that's a deception. Like he's hiding how he feels right now, which is not very good considering his chain top and Kyle's looking at him in that very skeevy way.
Should I roll Kyle's insight?
Yeah, sure. Oh boy, yep. That
How's
beat
Marcel
it.
feeling?
He's feeling not very scared, actually. More mad. He is angry. He feels angry and yeah, kind of like vulnerable right now, but also he's very angry.
Hmm. And he kind of just smirks at that because, of course. And he sighs and says, "Terribly sorry for the inconvenience, but my the person I was going to use took a bit of a fall. And I'm afraid I'm working on short notice.
Thanks for the apology.
Hmm. And he kind of circles around you, not really walking so much as gliding. He's not fully solid. The last time you saw him, he could easily pass for human, but as you're seeing him now, parts of his body just fade away into smoke and clouds as he moves, circling you, coming back to stand in front of you and tapping his lip, and then sighing and shaking his head and saying, "No, no, no, you don't look the role dressed like that."
Actually, quick question before you do what I think you're gonna do. Cell still has hidden magic gauntlets under his sleeves.
Mm hmm.
Does he still have those?
Yes.
May he try something?
He can try something, but I've shown you what magic gets you here.
Oh, well, the thing is, they're daggers, and like he can choose not to activate their magic.
Hmm.
They'll just be regular daggers.
Alright, but you'll have to roll at disadvantage. Your hands are chained.
Would I? Can I argue sleight of hand?
Sure?
All right, and he is wearing gambit gloves, so that's actually gonna like cancel the disadvantage out.
Hmm.
17.
Kyle, what's your fucking AC? Oh, that beats it.
All right, Kyle, you're looking at Cell, and you don't notice Cell's like hands move. But 1 second, you're looking at him, and the other dagger's being thrown straight towards you.
And it hits. Roll damage.
Okay, let me look at his fucking daggers.
I'm pretty sure it's not gonna do much, but
Not, but it's gonna give him the satisfaction for a moment at least. D6. Like it does have, and it can deal an extra 2d4 cold damage. Oh wait, no, it can deal an extra 1d6 cold damage.
mm,
That makes
8.
8. That's dagger number 1.
And the other?
Nope, dagger number 2 does not hit.
Yeah. So you throw your first dagger, and you manage to actually get it pretty damn close to his head, because he only barely manages to step to the side quickly enough for it to drag a gash over his cheek. And he kind of looks annoyed and dissolves into smoke for a moment as you throw the second one, which sails harmlessly through the darkness and into, you presume, nothingness. And he sighs and says, "Are you quite done?"
I feel, I do feel quite better.
"Glad to hear it. Unfortunately, something's going to have to be done about your wardrobe." And he snaps his fingers, and Mersel, your clothes transform. In an almost magical girl type sequence, but so much not as good as that at all. It's bad. And you are no longer wearing your coat. You are no longer wearing your turtleneck. You are no longer wearing your trousers and heeled boots. You weren't wearing your hat when you came in. You don't know where that got off to, but now you are dressed in a loose, flowy white dress, almost like a nightgown, that has your shoulders and arms exposed to the air, hangs pretty low on your back, and covers your feet, which you can feel are now bare. And Kyle just looks you over, sighs, nods, and says, "Alright, that'll have to do."
I'm just gonna. Yeah, Sal's holding himself together. Like, gosh, the minute like Kyle changes like his outfit, like he actually kind of like flinches and like looks himself over and is like visibly like pulling himself together because Sal doesn't like being in a dress, and especially not a dress like this.
And Kyle just sighs and says, "Don't worry, you won't have to deal with it for long. It'll all be over soon."
What does that mean?
And he opens his mouth as though to answer. And then, from where you can only assume there's a door, there's a sort of chiming sound, like a bell going off. And he sighs, and he looks exhausted already, and mutters, "God fucking damn it. You'll just have to wait." And then he leaves. And Mersel, you are still chained up.
As soon as Kyle goes, like he kind of like lets himself like deflate. And he's just hard as Kyle, fucking bedlam. Couldn't even give me a fair fight. That toothpick. Stars. Gosh. Oh, Toby and Prim. Oh, Gil. Sandy. Jack. And he's just gonna sit there for a bit and kind of like ruminate because he has nothing else to do considering his gauntlets got removed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One of the daggers he threw was like a returning dagger, but I'm gonna say that whatever it is that's cutting off Cell's magic, like it's making it that the dagger does not return to him.
Yeah. Also, I will note, your gauntlets weren't actually removed. Um, they're just, well, they're just kind of sitting against your skin now. Same with your gloves, actually, because, these were magic items. And basically what's happened is that they've just been stylistically changed to suit more the way you've been dressed.
Oh, that's worse. Oh, he looks at that and he's just, oh, that mother pecker, those gloves were a gift.
Um, Marcel, roll perception again.
Good, because he's so good at that.
You can roll at advantage this time. I'll say the adrenaline's giving you advantage.
Is it gonna help with the +2 modifier?
I mean, a 14 is good enough. Marcel, you thought you were alone in this room. After Kyle had left, you could only presume, of course, that no one else was here, because why would anyone else be here? But you see something shift in the dark in the corners of your vision.
His head like snaps to look at him in that direction, and he's just, who's there? Very softly and not really angrily, because he's assuming that whoever's like down here probably isn't a bitch like Kyle is, and probably not here willingly.
And you see this, whatever it is, shift again, and it doesn't move like a person. It's far, far too big to be a person. And there is a feeling almost like a nudge inside your head, like somebody poking you to try and get your attention, but it's in your brain.
Oh, yeah, that feels very weird. Like, the closest Cells felt to this was when he's operating Hope.
Mm-hmm.
And like he initially like jolts in surprise, but then he kind of like again whoever this is doesn't feel malicious. I assume.
No. You can roll insight if you want.
All right, let's do 6.
Roll again. The dice are bullying you.
Yeah,
8. The dice are bullying Vamp today. Um,
yeah. God, you should have watched it, and you saw FPS. Like half of my attacks landed.
yeah. Um, but with an 8, I'll say that whatever this is, it doesn't feel malicious. If anything, it feels curious and maybe a little concerned, but that's all you can tell.
Uh, hello, and he doesn't know like how to communicate, like what to do. He just like kind of like that little nudge in his head. He kind of like responds in kind.
You are very small.
I I'm taller than most people actually. That bastard of a Mara notwithstanding.
What are you doing here?
I I don't know. I would love to know that myself.
You are small. You are very young. You
I
shouldn't be here.
well, I am certainly not here by choice. And he's like so confused right now. He's just like sitting here like what what in stars is happening?
And whatever the source of this voice in your head is also the thing that is moving in the dark, and it moves forward, and you see you see the head of a very large snake poke out of the shadows.
Oh. Oh. Hi there.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
She kind of looks you over with these big, big eyes that are glazed over with a dull purple glow, but still have an untold amount of intelligence behind them.
Ah,
And she hisses quietly.
and Sal's just like looking at her and going, do you understand me?
Yes, I was there when your language was written. I understand you.
Huh. Um, well, I know I've said this already, but it's very nice to meet you. Oh, what should I call you? What's your name?
And she sounds a little dissatisfied and sort of slithers forward a bit so she can get a better look at you and says, I am 10,000 answered questions and the million left unanswered. I am the unknown. I am the first fear. I am Noctis. And you should not be here.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Noctis. Well, I don't want to be here, but he lifts his like wrists, which clank, because they're chained.
And she leans down and she sniffs at them, her tongue flicking at the metal and probably brushing up against your hands a little bit.
So Cell doesn't react like this is his life now. He's seen weirder, surprisingly enough.
And then she. Mersel, make a wisdom save real quick.
Okay, wisdom save. Sure, let's do that. 15. Hey, what was the wisdom save for?
Okay, so you are not scared witless as this snake suddenly boops forward and starts basically sniffing you.
Oh, uh, what are you doing about this?
And she hums and says softly, "You are just a hatchling. You shouldn't be here. Child of two stars, born to one, sworn to another. Of
Ah,
course he would take you, of course."
uh, and he kind of like lifts a finger up and goes, well, that title is a mouthful. Do you think you could call me by my name?
And what is that? You have yet to introduce yourself.
Uh, I'm I'm sorry. That was rude of me. Um, he's gonna make an Arcana check real quick, just to make sure that Noctis is not some kind of like creature, like Fae or something that does like get power when they know your true name. 17.
Okay, so with a 17, um, Noctis is not just a fae. Mersel, you have interacted with gods before, and this feels like some kind of god. Something older than even the wishing star. And she's quietly amused. And you get the sense that she could probably get some kind of power from knowing your name, but also that she isn't the sort to use it.
Yeah, like Saul sits there and like he has two wolves inside him. One of them is like telling him to tell her, like be polite. The other one's like, no, are you stupid? And in the end, he's just like, you know what? Like she probably would be able to figure something out anyway. And this might be very reckless and very foolish, and he's never ever gonna tell any spellcaster back home because they're all gonna kick his ass for doing this. But he just goes, "Oh, you can call me Mersel."
And she flicks her tongue at you and actually messes up your hair a little bit.
Ah,
And almost seems a little playful as she says, Mersel. No, I will call you Hatchling.
I'm 21 years old.
And I am well over a millennia.
And he lifts a finger to argue. And then his finger goes down. Like, how is this supposed to argue against that? I. Oh, okay, well, what are you doing here, Noctis?
And she glares at the door that Kyle went through, and her tail lashes back and forth. And she sighs and says, The puppeteer has me bound through some unholy ritual. He seeks to use me to gain power that he is not due.
Can someone make an Arcana roll again?
Sure.
Oh boy. 24. Oh, that was almost a nat 20.
Yeah. Mersel, you look at Noctis again, and you see that faint purple glow in her eyes, and you recognize that it's the same color as Kyle's magic. And you see thin strings wound around her throat and around her mouth and around her head. And you realize that she is under Kyle's control, or at the very least, she is being restrained.
Uh, I wish I hadn't thrown my daggers at him now. I might have been able to cut you free.
It is all right. And she kind of amusedly hisses and then flicks her tongue and rustles your hair with it again and gives you sort of a wink with those big old snaky eyes, which she shouldn't be able to do because snakes don't have eyelids, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
But she still does it and says, "It was amusing to see him get hurt."
Well, it was only one little gash. I did kick his ass when we first met. Too. Me and my partners did.
Your partners? You have people outside this place?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
I am sorry.
Uh, why? Why are you apologizing? Not this?
And she looks and feels very sad as she sort of draws up and coils up around you.
He like blinks in surprise, but he doesn't fight it. Like again, what is he gonna do to fight a giant snake in the first place? And second, she hasn't actually hurt him so far, and she's under Kyle's control, and like it's not really in his nature to hold that against her. It just
Mm-hmm.
kind of runs his fingers over her scales and goes, "Why? Why are you sorry?"
I know what he is planning. It does not end easily. I am sorry. There is a chance you might not see them again.
I doesn't end easy.
And she sort of dips her head down a bit and bumps her snout against your chest. And Mersel, you've been forcefully acquainted with film a bit more than usual lately because of your partner and um his fascination with movies by a certain director.
Yep.
Um and Marcel, roll me history. It's gonna be a low
Oh,
DC, but roll me history.
19. Okay.
Yeah, 19. You take another look down at what you're wearing, and you realize that the style is something of a cliche. You are dressed in the style of a living sacrifice.
Ah. 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 Oh. 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 Ah. I. So. Oh. So. That. That's. That. That. that that's. What he. That's what he. That. That's what he. That's what he wants me here for, isn't it?
I am sorry, Hatchling. I am so sorry.
And but what about you, though? Is he? Is he going to do the same thing to you?
Something similar. He will drain me to take my place.
Like she says that, and Noctis gets to see something that has not happened in canon yet. Cell's gray hair actually bleaches to white. Uh, he, he's going to take your place as a god?
And she makes a sound that isn't really something you would associate with a snake so much as a dragon. A sort of low, crooning, almost humming sound.
Oh, but what will happen to you?
I will go back to whence I came, I suppose.
That is.
Where do all nothings come from? Nothing. I will cease to be.
That's no, that can't happen. Like that. Oh, fucking Kyle. That that can't happen. You don't deserve that. No one deserves that. Oh, Kyle deserves my foot up his ass. Not the horror is beginning to leach away, and now it's replaced by anger.
And Mersel, you are getting a snug, that is a snake hug, as basically you are situated in the middle of a big ol' coil of Noctis. Big ol' snake hug. As she just kind of sets her head on top of yours.
Uh, I'm. You don't deserve this. Why? You don't deserve this. What? He just went after you because you're a god?
Because I am what he aims to become. Fear itself, or so it is believed.
You said, as it is believed. Are you not?
And she snorts kind of derisively. And you can feel, like, the puff of air messing up your hair again. I am nothing so simple. The unknown is feared, of course it is, but the unknown is not just what is feared.
Oh, of course not. That's. Well, I shouldn't be surprised considering this is Kyle. But, of course not. Like, yeah, not knowing stuff is scary, but things would be boring if you knew everything. And there's nothing like, I don't know, there's nothing like scaling a mountain or sailing somewhere or just watching the sunset somewhere you've never been before.
You have done these things, Hatchling?
Well, yes, I've traveled quite a lot, especially when I was younger. Not so much these days. I do have people to go back to, but especially when I was younger.
I have not been in this world for a very long time. Perhaps you can tell me about it wherever we end up next.
Or I could tell you now. It's not like we have anything else to do here. and he gestures at the very empty, very like lonely room. And
Hmm.
you're already called around me, so
And she kind of hums, and you assume that's a yes.
all right. Well, Anquil is very large. I don't even know where to start. But well, there is this festival. Do you know what festivals are? There is this festival in Ghibli that I went to last year, and met some very interesting people. It's a very beautiful place, and he starts like telling her like he starts like describing like different places to her.
And she just quietly, like, sits there wrapped up around him, almost protectively, and just quietly humming her amusement every once in a while.
And it goes from Ghibli, and then it goes to Toontown and the surrounding places, and then it goes to Dreamworkers, and then it just like tours like all the places Anquil has been, and at the end of it, it's just and that's not even all of Anquil, you know. I mean I'm more an adventurer than traveler, but there are so many things I haven't seen yet, and so many things that I could like learn and work towards, and gosh, there's so much to look forward to and get excited about. I don't know, like, and like he looks like extremely like excited at the thought of it.
And she quietly hums, and then plops her head down on top of yours again, and she's just quietly happy, humming, snake hissing laughter, and says, I like you, hatchling. You're mine now. I'm going to protect you as best I
Oh, hold on.
can. Hmm? Oh no, Vamp has died.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry. Like I told my sister that I would be busy from 7:30 to 8:30, and it's 8:30 on the dot. So technically, she didn't break anything. But
Oh no.
yeah. So it's just I'm. Wait, hold on. I'm yours now. What?
Hmm. She hums softly. She does not offer any other explanation.
Do I have any say in the matter?
No.
Oh, okay, but he's just like he's just staring at his hands and he visibly like you can literally see like the moment where he's just okay. This is too much to unpack right now.
This is too much to unpack. Let's just throw away the whole suitcase.
Yeah, and he throws it away and he's just like, well, I don't have many more places to describe. How long has it been? Huh, I didn't expect this house to hold this before that bastard came back. But I could tell you about people if you like. Well, I know a few people.
And she does that sort of affirming hum again. Like, sure, okay. She likes
Well,
learning things.
I told you about my partners, right? They're amazing. They're the best partners in the world. I love them so much. I'm so I know that I am a luck warlock, and it's part of like my whole thing. But I'm the luckiest guy in the world to have known them.
Hmm.
They're just amazing. They're just amazing. Like I swear, some days that it feels like the world revolves around both of them. They're they're just amazing. There's Primrose. She's so strong, Noctis. She could lift me with one hand. She could kick my ass and look very good doing it. And God, stars. She looks beautiful in dresses. Oh my stars! Every single time, no matter how many times I see her in one, I, I just I can't handle it. She's gorgeous. And she has the cutest like laugh, and when she's happy her nose crinkles up just so. And she leaves heart-shaped marks whenever she kisses me or Tobias. And sometimes we I wash her hair, and she always closes her eyes and almost falls asleep whenever I do that.
She sounds lovely.
She is lovely. And you know, when we met Kyle, I know I mentioned it earlier. When we met Kyle, she kicked his ass.
Hmm. Shame she is sent here now.
Mm. But uh, well, she's Primrose, and there's Tobias as well. And I know quite a few of my family. They've already been tracking Kyle down even before this whole incident.
Hmm. And she kind
Hey,
of she kind of leans down, moves her chin from the top of your head to just sort of sitting on your shoulder. Tell me about them.
uh, all right. There's my other partner, Tobias. He's also really, really cool, and he's amazing. And gosh, he's splendid and he's impressive, and he's so strong, but like in a different way than Prim. He can take anything that's thrown at him and roll with the punches, and he's amazing. Like I've never seen him shine more than when he's on a stage or in front of a camera. I don't even have that much of a preference towards movies, aside from a few. Don't tell engineer that. But Tobias makes me fall in love with it some days, just a little bit more. And I could spend just hours just sitting there with him and hugging him and just holding him close, or just speaking with him and just flicking floor at each other. And well, when we fought Kyle, he didn't get a chance to kick Kyle's ass because Kyle was a jerk and tried to take all of us out of the fight at once like a coward. But he, I know that given the choice, he would probably utterly wreck that Mara.
Hmm. It is the way of the puppeteer's kind to hide in the shadows and avoid conflict.
And it's going to bite him in the ass when the conflict comes to him. And I know it will, because I know my family I said that they've been tracking down Kyle. One of them's my little brother Gil. He's a he's a menace, but he's our menace.
Hmm.
Our idiot. He's been tracking Kyle down for a while now, and I think and here he lowers like his voice to a very soft whisper in case Kyle is listening. I think he actually has some information about where Kyle lived or lives, I guess. And he should be able to track Kyle down. And even even as mischievous as he is, I know him, and he's actually quite like intelligent when it comes to it.
Hmm.
And he's helped with by Bob. And don't let anyone who calls him like a paper pusher or nerd like fool you. He's also very, very strong. Like he overthrew a government. Like sure we helped, but he did the bulk of the work himself. And
What's
he's
a government?
like a leader,
Hmm.
like an institution that rules over a select area or region.
Hmm. That is a good thing to overthrow.
Mm-hmm. He overthrew the government, and and he's a dad actually. He has a son. Sweetest radio you've ever seen. And well, he's amazing, and he's really, really good at reading through text and writing, and finding hidden meanings and hidden words. So if anyone can track Hal down from the paperwork that Gil's told, I think it would be Bob. And well, there's Sandy too, my little sister. She's really cheery and like optimistic, and she's so strong. Like I don't even know what she went through Noctis, but whatever it was, she survived it. And it's not smooth sailing, but she survived it, and she's still here, and she's so strong, and she looks up to me for some reason, and I just she's amazing, and I hope she's doing okay now that I've gone missing. Then again, it's just been a day.
Hmm.
Has it just been a day? I don't actually know how long he kept me asleep.
You were only asleep for an hour or two, I think.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't notice that I'm gone yet. I do have a habit of disappearing when I get into adventures of some kind. Although not usually, and he gestures, I'm not usually kidnapped on the way to the packing grocery store.
And she kind of laughs, and then she kind of looks at you and says, "You have such faith in them."
Hmm. He kind of tilts his head and goes, "Well, part of it might be because of the. I did say that I'm a luck warlock, right? Are you aware of the wishing star?"
Mm.
Big question. Of course you are. You referred to her when you were talking to me the first time. Well, kind of prerequisite of being a warlock, huh? I gotta trust in my luck, I I trust in my luck, and I trust in them, and I trust in Kyle's absolute.
Incompetence.
Yes, that's the word. God, stars. He makes me forget like half of my vocabulary. I don't. Gosh, I don't actually know why he chose me of all people. Like, if he needs a sacrifice, like, I'm glad it's me rather than someone else. But couldn't he have just taken someone from the street?
And she kind of shakes her head back and forth and says, "I don't know the exact parameters, but he is scared of you."
Sal like blinks at Noctis and it's just really, really, no, no, can't be.
You are pure light in many terms. Of course he is. One marked by the star, of course the darkness would flee from it.
He was a warlock of a star before, the second star.
And now he is forsaken. Or so his swearing rambles might say.
Oh, pecking second star doesn't have anything better to do than bully his sister's warlock, fucking teleporting dwarves. But it's good to know that he forsake Kyle at least. That's good. Somewhere, second star is feeling very attacked for no reason.
And Noctis kind of chuckles and then gently headbutts Mersel in the chest, like, "Hey, no, quit that." And says,
That
"Don't be so quick to judge him. He is petty and childish, but the second star is more caring than many give him credit for."
I don't I don't doubt that. Or literally anyone else, but his sister's warlocks.
Hmm. And she kind of shakes her head and says, So many thousands of years, and those two are still going at it.
Cell looks at this, and he just visibly like, yeah, I don't want to know the details of my patron's apparent family drama. And
And
he's just, well, if Kyle is scared of me or whatever, that's that's so stupid of him.
oh,
Like, scared of me? Like, I'm yeah, sure, I'm marked by the star, but I wasn't I wasn't always. But even besides that, scared of me? Me? Not Prim? Not Prim. I once saw her break apart like a plank of wood with her bare hands. Not Tobias? Out of the three of us, he's scared of me?
and
Like,
she shrugs as best as a snake can shrug.
I may issue my threats, but well, between the three of us, I'm pretty sure Tobias is the most likely to actually go through with them.
Hmm.
And well, Prim's very strong. I he chose to be scared of the one person in our little group that wouldn't kill him. He chose to be scared of me. That's oh my stars. He's so stupid. He acts like he knows everything he's doing, but he's so stupid. What a dumbass.
Indeed.
And he kind of like sacks onto like Ignatius's back and just goes, well, if he insists on keeping up this incompetence, I bet that people will be coming for me very soon. Coming for us, and well, after all this is done, heck stars, I hope it doesn't take too long. I still need to apologize to Jack, but after all this is done, I'm going to cut you free, and then you can go wherever you want.
Hmm. And she kind of hums contemplatively at that and nuzzles the top of Mersel's head.
Would that be nice? I mean, it sounds like you've been away for a very long time, and well, you are the god of the unknown, I assume, and well, the whole world must be unknown to you right now. Wouldn't it be nice to go traveling?
Hmm. You mortals are so lucky. To
Hmm?
see the world through your eyes, that would be lovely.
He kind of like tilts his head because, well, why don't you? After we're safe, and after we're free.
Hmm. And she looks at him, and Mersel, roll insight.
Roll inside. All right, he still has one luck point. Oh, that's a nat 20. Okay, the dice is like, yeah. After all these bad rolls, you get one.
Yeah, and she kind of looks you over, and you can see just a kind of look in her eyes as she makes a decision. You don't know what that decision is, but you can tell she's made up her mind about something. And she just kind of plops her head on top of yours and says, "Yes, I think I'd like that."
Mm. Well, I well, Kyle still isn't back yet. I wish I had my daggers. Not only could I cut you free, I could put it through his eye. But Kyle isn't back yet, and well, if you don't mind me like chattering and rambling and all that, I could talk to you about the rest of my friends.
And she kind of hums and again asks you to tell her about your people because she wants to know about your people. And I think you guys pass a few hours that way every once in a while. A sound coming through the walls that may or may not be a little bit disturbing. Um, until Eventually, Kyle comes back, but he doesn't do much of anything. He just checks on whatever strings are binding Noctis, deals with whatever insults you fling his way, attempted attacks, what have you.
I
Um,
will say that one of the insults is gonna be related to what Noctis told him. Although he wouldn't say that Noctis was the one who told him.
hmm. And I will actually note something. The first time Kyle does come back into the room while Noctis is still all wrapped up around Mersel, she rears up and hisses at him very loudly.
Noctis, it's fine. Well, no, it's not. Hello, you fucking bastard. But it's fine, it's fine. Don't.
Mm. And he doesn't seem to pay her any mind, but she just kind of. She keeps a very protective stance over Mersel and just kind of hisses quietly, "Mind, you're not going to hurt this one. My hatchling."
I'm 21 years old.
And she just kind of plops her chin on top of your head again. That seems to be her answer every time you say that you are not in fact a hatchling. Just no, you're wrong.
I, okay. And is that like is Kyle going to do anything whenever he comes back?
The first few times he comes back, he doesn't really seem to do anything except for one or two opportunities where he casts Hold Person on Mersel and uses the puppet strings to force Noctis out of the way, and draws something on Mersel's skin with some kind of paint that, no matter how much Mersel tries to get it off after Kyle leaves, does not seem to want to come off. Um,
That's not good. I've been a warlock for long enough to know. Oh, this isn't good.
hmm. Until eventually Kyle comes back in, and Noctis, of course, does her bit of glaring at him and hissing very loudly, being very protective, as you would expect from a snake that has claimed something as her own. Um, but he pays her no mind. He just sort of waves a hand, and she is forced still in by the strings that are wrapped around her. And he walks over and looks at Mersel. And Mersel, you can. I'm gonna go off that insight you just rolled because that's a nat 20, and we're keeping that because Dice Parser is mean to you. There is an almost manic look in his eyes.
Oh, that's not good. It's all just like, what are you looking at? Take a picture. It'll last longer.
It'll certainly last longer than you will now. And he grins and leans in very, very close until you are almost nose to nose, and breathes a cloud of smoke into your face. Marcel, make a constitution save at
Oh, you know he's
disadvantage.
bad at this. You know he's bad at this.
And you have
Yeah, I'm not making
disadvantage.
a roll with disadvantage. Like that's probably already doesn't meet it. Yep, that's a 4.
Yep. Um, yeah. Oh boy. Well, you're still down 14 hit points, I think, because you wouldn't have been able to get a proper long rest in. And then this is Peck. What was the thing?
Oh boy.
Ba 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 ba. And D10. Okay, you don't get hurt too badly. You're down 15 hit points instead of 14. There is a sharp sting of pain in your head, and your world goes dark again. But this time, you don't wake up. You know you don't wake up, but sometimes God, you really wish you could, because what comes next, what's going on next, it's awful. It is awful. This is probably going to be very annoying, but roll me 7 wisdom saves. One for each
7?
day. One for each day.
Wait, how many have I rolled so far?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6, 7. Okay.
Yep. So, yeah. Uh, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of those do not go so well.
Oh god, there are 2 not ones at the end there.
Yeah, Mersel, you hold out for a good while. How I'm gonna say this translates is you hold out against this onslaught of awful, awful night terrors for a good while, but after a few days of nothing but nightmares, can't. You kind of start to get tired, and you can't really keep up as well anymore. And you are starting to slip. You're not losing your mind, but hope is starting to become a further and further thing from your mind. Hope of rescue is an odd concept with just how often you see everybody you love, in one way or another, gone trying to save you.
Oh, Kyle, that peckneck, that's the nightmare he assigned?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. There's, a good handful just associated with Marcel's general fears. At least a few have to deal with spiders. That was probably the first couple days. Um,
Yeah, like, Kyle's terrified of spiders, but he's also like, yeah, he dealt with those night terrors.
mm-hmm. But after a few days, it's like whatever it is that is keeping you asleep and keeping you in these nightmares, it sinks its teeth in properly. And it starts to get a hold of what really scares you, and it's all downhill from there.
Gosh. And, well, I would say how he feels, but he's not feeling very much right now, isn't he? He's just drifting, drifting, and scared and alone and, well, asleep. Everything seems very hazy, and everything seems very out of touch. And, well, he held out for what, 3 days? He held out for almost half of those days that he was captured. And shouldn't he rest now? Shouldn't he just close his eyes and rest now and take a break and just go to sleep? Anyway, I think that ends our FPS.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that is where we stop. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please join us this Sunday for Showtime, where we see what exactly becomes of all this. I hope you all had a good time, and I know you're all going to yell at us in the Great Migration later. Have a good evening, everybody. Bye bye.